Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to share with you a trade recap that I took scalping the pound to the dollar. Now this trade was a little bit frustrating because although it was a winner, it was a nice winner and I finished up just over 1.5% on my account. In the end, the trade just carried on moving and unfortunately I cut my winner far too short. And there's a few lessons that I got from this trade that I want to share with you today. So let's dive onto the computer and I'll break down the trade for you on the charts. Okay guys, so looking here at the 4-hourly chart for pound USD, and we've been in this strong uptrend, although now we seem to have come to a little bit of a consolidation period. And as you can see, its price action has been really quite choppy in this space here. So on the 4-hourly chart, I marked out these grey areas to represent stronger levels of market structure that I think may be catalysts for some reaction for price. So as you can see, along the top here, we had quite a few rejections of this level. We did break the level here and rose up a little bit, and then we've come back down into this consolidation, testing the lows, but ultimately we've not actually had a strong break out of this area of consolidation. So for this trade, I was aware that we had the strong red candle down, but then we'd start to bounce up from the bottom of this range. And I thought that if we got above this grey area of market structure, there was a chance that price could continue up to test the highs of this previous breakout. So my plan for a trade here was that I was going to wait for a break of this market structure. I then wanted to look for a retest and clear rejection of this to add a confirmation for the move, to then get into the trade to scalp this move higher. After I decided on my plan on the 4-hourly time frame, I then worked my way down to the hourly time frame again, just to see how the hourly candle was looking to close. So let's just move this on a little bit here. So the closing 7 o'clock in the morning candle here was a more bullish pin bar. We had a wick rejecting the EMAs and we looked like we were going to be pushing higher. Dropping down onto the 5-minute time frame, I'm just going to move price on now past 8 o'clock as I got into this trade at 8:37. So we had a strong bullish candle up and we continued up. 8:20, we were making quite a nice bullish pin bar here, but I was waiting for that clear retest. At this point, I switched to the 1-minute time frame because this is the time frame I prefer to use for these scalp positions. And as you can see, we started to get this nice gradual uptrend here. I'd marked this area here just to clearly see where the highs were for this day. And as you can see, we'd broken up, we'd come down here, gathered some strength to move higher, but we still didn't move too far. So I was waiting for a second confirmation for the retest. 8:36, and we'd had this pullback to market structure, but we were starting to lose momentum with these red candles as the bodies were getting a lot smaller. And then we had this green candle which pushed up. Although it's a doji candle, it did close above the EMA and it did form a bullish engulfing to the previous red doji candle. So for me, that is an entry signal because we've got the trend, we've got the market structure, and I've got my candlestick pattern signal, the bullish engulfing candle. So I put my forecast over the break of that bullish engulfing candle, which is 1.34109. And for this, I was using a 10 pip stop, which is the stop I usually use for scalping on the 1-minute chart. I felt quite confident with that because it was considerably lower in the market structure. And as part of that, I was initially aiming for a 3% target because I felt that once we broke the highs, we did have potential to move up to the previous level of resistance, which is up here, which is the daily resistance. So let's just move on price. So we've got the nice push up. Hesitated for a little bit, just testing that. And here I was watching this area here at 0.18 because that was the high of the day. I thought that that could be a resistance. If we couldn't break it, I was going to be quite quick to get out of this trade break even. And here it didn't get below this previous level of support on the 1-minute time frame, this 1.34071 level. So I decided to stay in this trade and just see what it did to give it a chance. after a little bit more consolidation, we did get the push up. And once price actually hit this 1% target level, which was 1.3420, I then decided to bring my stop up to break even just to help manage the risk on my account, because I'm 1% in profit, so I didn't expect to see price to then drop down. So then price started to move quite nicely here on the 1 minute time frame. At this point in this move, this is where, unfortunately, I think my emotions took over a little bit, because I was aiming for this 3% target. However, we came to this level here, so it was just over 2% in profit, and then we had this rather bearish candle down. Now, looking back at this is quite normal for price action on the 1 minute time frame. It's choppy and it's the way that price moves. But as we had this big drop down, I just had that burst of emotion, I suppose, when I was in this trade, because I was afraid it was going to come down and stop me out at break even, because I was already up 2% in profit. And I think this stems from a little bit of confusion that I have with setting profit targets, because I've been jumping between having a 2% target and a 3% target. I'm not quite found out which one's right for me yet. And here I think that I panicked because I hit 2%, then it started to come down, and I was kind of frustrated because I thought that maybe I'd missed my chance at 2%. So basically I bailed out at this point on this red candlestick, and my bailout price was 1.3427. So it's around about 1.75% profit. So it's still a nice base hit win. However, if I just continue playing this trade through and see what it does. So as you can see, price comes down and it seems to retest this previous level of structure that we had drawn out, and it's like it's finding some strength there for that potential move higher. Now it holds this level, and if I was still in this trade with my break-even stop, I would still be in this trade as it then resumes its gradual increase higher. Now if I just put back my original profit target, we wouldn't have quite hit that yet, so let's just play it on a little bit more. So I got into this trade at 8:37 and I bailed out prior to my plan at 8:58. So I was only in this trade for roughly 20 minutes. If I'd have waited until 9:40, so a considerable amount of time later, it would have hit my original 3% target, and I basically could have doubled what I made that day. And as you can see, in that time, it didn't come back down to my break-even stop. So this is a classic example of where I think I should have set it and forget it. I should have just trusted my plan, trusted my break-even stop and my 3% target, and just walked away and let price action do its thing. Come back an hour later and I would have won. That could have been one scenario. So in that scenario, I could have had my original 3% profit. And just to clarify, I made around about 1.75% on this trade. After experiencing this, I was quite frustrated because I realised I clearly used my emotions to cut my winners short, and it's not profitable long term. I know that I need to really let my winners run as long as possible if I want to have that long-term profitability, the series of trades perspective. So I was trying to think of different ways I could have managed this better. And obviously plan A would have been my original trade plan of just letting the trade run until 3%. Then I thought about what I could have done on plan B. And plan B, I guess, I could have, when I hit 2%, which was the other target I was considering, I guess I could have sold half of my position. So this would have given me 1% profit already. So it's nice, it's taking a little bit of money off the table so that if the trade didn't work out, at least I've made a little bit of money. And then it's letting half of my position to run. Now, if I'd have done that, I guess the question would have been, how long would I have left my remaining position run for? So let's just see how far price goes in this trade. Okay, so as you can see, I'm really zoomed out here on the 1 minute time frame because it's pretty much continued with this gradual uptrend throughout the majority of the day. Now, once it broke this 3% target, it rarely came back below this 3%. So if I had sold half of my position at 2 and left half of my position remaining, I could have let this run throughout the day. Now, earlier I did say that I thought there was room for price action to move up to this red horizontal ray, which is resistance on the daily chart. And as you can see, we did get quite a big move towards that. And in the end, price actually moved over 6.5% on this trade. Now, I'm not saying that I would have held the entire thing, although I guess there would have been an opportunity to. I could have sold half of that position at 2R for plan B. And I guess the remaining position, I could have let it run and I could have kept a 15 pip trading stop, which is something that I can do a MetaTrader for. There's a minimum of 15 pips required for a trading stop. I've looked at that since doing this trade. But even if I had held my remaining position just to 3%, I mean, I would have missed all of this move, but it would have been my original target. If I had left half of my position run to 3%, I would have still have managed to gain 1.5%. Together with the previous half I've sold would have given me 2.5%. It's still a really good win, and it would have given me more money than I had in the end. So as you can see, just from plan A and plan B, those two options would have given me a lot more money than what I actually made on the day. But I guess this is trading, and now I feel like previously with trading, my lessons were very much about how to cut my losers. Whereas now I feel like I've gravitated into the realms of learning more about how to let my winners run. And that's what I'm doing here, is just reflecting on this trade, looking at the different options I could have done to try to get more money out of this trade. But what do you guys do to help you to let your winners run? Do you have any tricks you can share? Let us know in the comments below. But as a result, this is what I made on this trade. A very small portion considering the move that we saw, but I'm still happy with this trade, and I wouldn't have wanted to have sat at the computer all day. But I guess there's so many different options and ways that you can trade, but ultimately the goal is to be green, which is what I've achieved today. So as far as I'm concerned, it's still a good trade, but as always, there are always lessons to learn. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks guys, bye!